Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first Mac and Chat of the year of 2022. It's so exciting to be back with all of you. I am so excited because we have two wonderful guest stars with us tonight. Obviously, there has been a lot of West Side Story in the air with Steven Spielberg's brilliant new reimagining of the classic 1961 movie. More on that later. But there's a wonderful new book that has just hit the market. I ate it up practically overnight. When You're a Jet, The Story of a Dancer's Extraordinary Ordinary Life by David Tiger Bean. We actually have one of the Jets with us from the original film tonight, and his lovely wife, otherwise known as Miss Jeannie Beanie, who played Anybody's in the UK tour in 1959, where they actually met. So let's roll the credits, and we will get something's coming, something good, with Mr. David Bean and Miss Jean Bean. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mac and Chat. Again, thank you for joining us. This is our first episode of the 2022 season, and I want to thank everyone who supported us during the 2021 season. I would be remiss if I did not mention the passing of the great Betty White. Those of you who know us very well know that Betty and all of the Golden Girls hold a very special place in our hearts because I created the original Golden Girls live on stage back in 2003. We were the first company ever to do a loving parody of the show. And I mean that, a loving parody, not make fun of it, but have fun with it. And I've written many episodes over the years, and I was lucky enough to work with Miss White when we were living in California. I did an episode of Hot in Cleveland, and I actually got to meet her and had a wonderful day on the set with her and Wendy Malick and Valerie Bertinelli and Sean Hayes, the producer of the show. Everything that you would expect Betty White to be, she was just that lady. What you saw was what you got. So I know we all love her and miss her dearly, and it's just kind of sad that she didn't make it to the big 100. But, if there's anything we can take away from Betty White's life is to just live it. Betty did not waste a moment of her life. And I think she would want all of us to not mourn, but celebrate and get on with it. Just get out there and have a good time. So this is also an exciting year for me. For those of you who are in the loop, if you don't know me, and there's no reason why you should know me, my name is Peter Mack, and my claim to fame, so to speak, is I've been performing for the last 20 years as of this year as the great Judy Garland, doing a loving tribute to Miss Garland, all live, no lip syncing, doing various thematic shows, bringing Judy into the now, as if she were a 99-year-old woman about to be 100 years old. So I'm going to be celebrating my 20th year in November 2nd. It'll be 20 years. And this is also, it's Judy's centennial year. So we have a lot of wonderful stuff planned in honor of what would have been her 100th birthday. So look out for our shows. They're going to be reopening in, I believe, 2 weeks at the Producers Club in Manhattan. So more on that later. I don't want to waste another minute because we have these two wonderful guest stars. Again, as I said during the intro, I ate this book up practically overnight. When You're a Jet, The Story of a Dancer's Extraordinary Ordinary Life. I grew up with the film West Side Story. I've fallen in love with it all over again because of this new Steven Spielberg, brilliant, I might add, reimagining. And one of the Jets has published this book, Mr. David Bean. So I'd like to welcome David and his lovely wife, Jean. Bring him on. Hello.
Hello.
We got you because. Oh, thank you for doing it. I was tickled. I was absolutely tickled that you guys agreed to do it. So thank you so much for joining me.
It's our pleasure. We're looking forward to having a wonderfully fun half hour or more.
Oh yeah, don't be surprised. We've been known to go an hour or 90 minutes. So tell me to you tell me to shut up.
and right now we're almost at 1,000 people watching all across Facebook. So we're so glad for all those people across all the different groups.
David,
welcome everybody.
Yes, welcome everybody. Yes. What I guess what I want to start off with is, how does it feel to know that it's, I guess, 61 years? We're on the 61st anniversary of the original film, to have been a part of something that's so iconic. It's a classic. It's legendary. It's part of, the fabric of our culture. To have been a part of something that's that loved and that remembered. It's right up there with The Wizard of Oz. What is it like for you?
Not to make your question simplistic, it has touched every moment of my life since I was 17 years old. There hasn't been a moment where West Side Story hasn't been a big part of my life. And basically, you could say, well, what luck to just do one movie and have that movie be a classic. Gene and I worked for 30 years on Broadway and dancing and on television, but nothing compares to the original West Side Story. It's just incredible. And it has affected our life, particularly in business. When we would create a new business, it was just insane not to say, hey, we're associated with West Side Story, because everybody knows it, everybody knew it. All the young people today, to this day, the young people know it because they teach it in school.
Yeah,
right.
It's Romeo and Juliet, it's a classic. And they show the movie. So if I were to walk out on stage at the high school, they would recognize basically, they would recognize me as a jet.
Yeah.
That's the spectacular residual effect that we've had for 60 years.
Well, I think when we were invited to go to Arlington High School, and they were doing West Side Story. And the children, the kids were so talented, and they were so excited, and we kept thinking, is somebody behind us? But they were just so thrilled that, wow, somebody from West Side Story is walking down the aisle here, and then we can walk and talk at this age.
That's an understatement.
Well, that's how I feel. Just the fact that when I called that. Did we lose?
Repeat.
Oh, what I was going to say that's how I felt. When I
can hear you.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I called and you actually got on the phone, and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually talking to Tiger. It's just so amazing. It's like when I met Mickey Rooney or Margaret O'Brien, who's a dear friend of ours. You never think that you're going to get to meet people like yourself, because you're up there on the screen and again in this thing that's just so iconic and so larger than life. It's a thrill. It's an absolute thrill to meet both of you.
The wonderful part was that doing the play and doing the movie literally was just as joyous as we feel about it today. When we did it, it was so much fun. A lot of work, but fun. We just killed ourselves doing it because we just really loved it. It's one thing to do. It wasn't one of those things that I have to go to work today, You look forward to the morning when you get up.
Well, I think one of the loveliest things that does happen is West Side Story, the music is on great. David and oh my God, David, look, song. I go, it's going to be a good. And that's how we feel about West Side, and it's been.
And then we break right into the prologue.
Yeah.
You know, since you brought it up, David, I created a little montage just so that we could refresh everybody's memory here. This is going to bring back a lot of happy memories. So we're going to take you back to the Upper West Side, which, funny enough, is just about 20 blocks away from where I'm sitting. Some of where you're going to see David was actually filmed just 20 blocks away from where my husband and I live. So let's roll it and show a classic in action.
Hey, you! Who, me, Officer Krupke? Yeah, you! Give me one good reason for not dragging you down to the station house, you punk!
Dear kindly Sergeant Krupke, you gotta understand, it's just our bringing upkey that gets us out of hand. Our mothers all are junkies, our fathers all are drunks. Golly Moses, naturally we're punks. Gee, Officer Krupke, we're very upset. We never had the love that every child ought to get. We ain't no delinquents, we're misunderstood. Deep down inside us there is good. There is good, there is good, there is good, there is untapped good. Like inside, the worst of us is good.
That's a touching good story!
Let me tell it to the world!
Just tell it to the judge!
The trouble is he's lazy. The trouble is he drinks. The trouble is he's crazy.
The trouble is he stinks.
The trouble is he's growing.
The trouble is he's grown.
Krupke, we got troubles of our own. Officer Krupke, we're down on our knees. 'Cause no one wants a fella with a social disease. Officer Krupke, what are we to do? Chief Officer Krupke, Krupke, you! We're drawing a line, so keep your noses hidden. We're hanging a sign, so visitors forbidden, and we ain't kidding. And we're gonna beat every last bugging gang on the whole bugging street, on the whole bugging ever loving street. Yeah!
And I should have set that up. I should have set that up better. So that was David, with posing as Officer Krupke, and then in the light gray jersey, with actually the uncle of a friend of ours. That was Tucker Smith. That was taunting Bernardo with David, and his nephew Rick Kilroy is actually a friend of ours. So that's funny that you actually worked with Tucker, and then I came to know Tucker's nephew many years later.
In fact, the Judy logo was done by Rick.
Yeah, Rick, his nephew did my Judy logo for my show for me. Yeah. But it's just amazing how the movie holds up.
Go.
We lose you again.
No.
You're there. We got you.
Nope, we're here.
Yeah, okay. That one scene where we stalk George at the very beginning of the movie.
Yes.
And I sort of clenched my fist. that was early on in making the movie, and we had just come from London, where George actually was Riff.
That's right.
George and I shared a house. We were like brothers in real life in London. And when we came to Hollywood, I wasn't allowed to talk to him because he was a shark.
That was Jerome Robbins' rule, right? The Jets and the Sharks were not allowed.
That was absolutely. But it was really fun to do that one particular thing. And when I walked up and started whistling, we were really trying to taunt him. Because at that particular time, there was no hate relationship there. It hadn't been developed yet. But we were trying hard.
And I
think it was a good moment.
Russ Tamblyn, who played Riff, mentions there's one point during the Jet song where he's like, when we turn the corner in the playground, it's actually almost a year later. That one section of the song, or like 6 months or 8 months or something, like a bunch of time had passed.
Actually, I'm not sure exactly what particular corner and stuff. All of the Jet song was filmed in New York City, so we did that in a 16-week period.
Okay.
You may have misunderstood about a year because we didn't go back after the 16 weeks.
Right. Once you were done in New York, you went to L.A.
Could have been a month later. Yes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he said there was like some like weird time span.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time. And the wonderful part about the Jet song was sung by Tucker Smith. Tucker was the one who actually recorded that for Russ. And however, Krupke was Russ's voice.
Go figure.
It didn't. Right. It didn't make any sense to me because they've played Russ's track up against Tucker's, and basically Tucker's just doing a Russ Tamblyn imitation. It sounds the same.
But you know what happened? This is the actual truth. I was asked to record it.
Right.
Was asked to record the Jet song.
In the book.
Literally, I worked with Saul Chaplin, who was just this world famous genius.
Yes.
I worked for a week singing a song, and when they played it back to Jerry Robbins, Jerry said, I heard him say, Dave sounds just like Russ.
That's right.
But I didn't understand why they would do Russ and then do not play one thing and then play another.
I don't know.
I mean, go figure.
I don't know the decision on that. It was strange. And then unnecessary, I think. It was just a lot of wasted time.
Well,
Yeah.
The thing was that with Jerry, when he just took time and he was such a, he wanted everything so perfect. And unfortunately, he got laid off.
Yes. Yeah. I guess Robert Wise said that he didn't quite understand the movie process and that at some point you have to say print it. And I guess you guys would do a day's worth of work and nothing would be printed. Because I was reading recently, I always wondered that did they consider putting the Somewhere Ballet in the movie? And according to this one book, the Somewhere Ballet was going to be in the movie if Jerome Robbins had stayed with it. But once he was dismissed, they decided to cut it. Because I was kind of sorry that they didn't put the Somewhere Ballet in the movie.
Well, after the fact, we all thought that too. While we were doing it, I don't remember anybody ever mentioning it. Had the Somewhere Ballet been planned, we would have been rehearsing it.
Right.
We didn't. Jerry didn't even create anything. The first 3 months we worked on the film, we had 14 different ways to do every 8 bars of dance. Literally, Jerry was changing everything. And from my point of view, most of the dancing that we did, except for the fact that we could actually go all the way down the street, whereas on stage you had to alter your space.
Yeah.
Most of the dances were exactly the same as they were on Broadway. all the choreography was pretty much all the same.
So that there's no reason really to keep doing it. And also, can you imagine? Natalie was so miffed that she walked off and she didn't continue. I mean, hello, Maria, well.
She was upset. She was upset that Jerry Robbins had been fired.
Oh yes, very much so. You know, I'm talking like this. I didn't even do the bloody film.
Well, no. Let's throw this in. Let's throw this out there though. But you guys met when David did the London production because, well, first of all, you stuck it to Arthur Lawrence. I love that story in the book.
Oh.
Did you want to share that? Because Arthur Lawrence was brilliant, but he was not the nicest man in the world. God rest him.
That's putting it nicely. He was a horrible human being.
So tell that story. I love that story. Or Gene, whichever one of you wants to tell that story. It's great.
Well, I will tell it.
Fine.
Yeah, 6 months after we opened in London, Arthur Lawrence came to see the show, and he came back storming. We all had a note on the board saying, everybody stay on stage after the final curtain. Arthur Lawrence wants to give you notes. So we said, oh, okay. So we were all huddled on stage afterward, and Arthur Lawrence stormed out on the stage. And boy, he gave us a mouthful. And one of the things he said was, you don't listen to each other. In other, when you talk to somebody, you react automatically. You don't listen and react normally. He said, well, he may have been right, but really nobody wanted to hear that. And he said, you have to have this association. Now, for instance, he says, nobody knows what color socks I'm wearing right now because you're not paying any attention. Gene said, green and yellow. What? He said, green and yellow. And that was Gene.
I love that you stuck it to him, Gene.
And of course, everybody had to laugh. I got down to nothing. It was really fun. So, but Leonard Bernstein came backstage and gave notes. Jerry would come back when he would visit London and give notes, but nothing horrendous, nothing outrageous. If he had something personal to say to somebody, he would have taken them aside, because in our general notes after the curtain went down, they were wonderful.
Yeah.
Jerry.
But what David's not saying is that the Americans came over to England, and it was like a whole new country had arrived in England, which isn't very big anyway. But these boys, I mean, their dancing was so superb. And we, as dancers, well, I think we call ourselves dancers, but when you put yourself up against the American dancers, we were terrible.
Interesting.
So we were really trained, and when West Side came to England, a lot of shows opened, and the choreographers there really changed their ways of choreographing, because I mean, you have no idea. It was like, oh my goodness me! It was so exciting to see the dancing.
The difference would be, as Jerry would say, I don't want a TV dancer. You have to dance like you're living it, and it's coming right out of you.
Yeah.
So that it's.
Oh, I think your statement, David, is absolutely brilliant. When you
Thank
said
you.
I think you said, that to dance like you're inside a paper bag and you're trying to get out.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely brilliant, and it's so visual, and it's so great for a young dancer to visualize whether you're a ballet dancer, jazz, tap, or whatever you're doing. I think it's absolutely brilliant to have that visual, and that's what they did. I mean, they just, whoa, I mean, it was unbelievable.
And you came in and you auditioned for the show, and actually you had a very interesting situation yourself, because you decided to come in with your point shoes, and that actually kind of got a laugh.
I'm so ignorant. I mean, I had plain red hair, and they said, you look like anybody. This looks like audition. Yes, thank you very much. I went home, took the tube home, came back, my little point shoes, and I had gone to what I had once gone to the Royal Academy, and that's all I really knew was ballet and, and pantomime, where men dress up as women and,
Yes.
pantomime in England, very strange. In fact, it's interesting, we did the ballet, what was taken out of the website.
The Somewhere Ballet.
Thank you very much. And it was in sixes, da 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 boom, da 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 da.
The Scherzo, yep.
So afterwards,
That was your audition. Was somewhere part of the Somewhere Ballet.
with Tony Mordenti, who was married at the time to Cyril Ritchard, who played Anita. And so he said, "Excuse me, miss, do you always do auditions in point shoes?" And I said, "Well, when I don't know what I'm auditioning for, absolutely." And but it was probably such a silly reaction on my part. But Tony was absolutely deafening, and so that was really great. I got into the show anyway.
She got to swing the show, which is one of the hardest jobs you have in the base, because you have to know everybody.
You have to know everybody's part.
It's a challenge, sure.
But I loved it, because then I would say, "Okay, Gene, you're at the monster shop." So out came the black guy, boom, 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 do the hair with the black guy, because I was shocked.
Yeah.
What was wonderful was she was doing America with Cheetah and the girls, and then she was spectacular.
Now,
Jean was a wonderful dancer. I'm going to skip forward.
okay.
Years. Shortly after we were married, I think it was about 1963, we went to California to do a show called The Prisoner of Zenda with Cheetah Rivera.
Yes.
And Mark Wilder was in it, but Jack Cole choreographed that.
Oh.
And Jack Cole, Gene is a Jack Cole dancer. I mean, fits right in. But for that production, Gene was asked to cover Cheetah. She understudied Cheetah in that role.
Which was a laugh, darling. I mean, really. But Jack Cole did all the choreography for Marilyn Monroe. Let me tell you something. Next time you see Marilyn Monroe, it's absolutely a bit naughty. What he does with his hands covering up certain parts of her body is very naughty. But it's like dancing out of a paper bag. I mean, the image that he creates is absolutely phenomenal.
Gwen Verdon said that about him because people have said that with Gwen because of the two styles, the Jack Cole style and the Bob Fosse style. It became such a part of her, and that the two complemented each other so much.
Exactly.
Well, Gene is a Jack Cole, Bob Fosse dancer. I'm not. I'm a Jerry Robbins, Gene Kelly type dancer. When we were in New York, we were hired to do The Prisoner of Zenda by Anna White. I'm an Anna White dancer, right? We got to LA, she was fired, it was Jack Cole. The first week, we spent 10 hours a day learning how to dance like Jack Cole.
He hated us.
Not you, he hated some of the boys.
And some of the girls.
Because it was difficult. The really small, little jerky movements, that's Jack Cole.
Yeah.
And Bob Fosse, I'm very big. I don't do sexy.
Gene Kelly was more athletic.
Well, you met my daughter.
I want to ask you, because you guys have mentioned Cheetah. Give us what are your memories of working with Cheetah? Because she's so beloved in the community. Everybody adores Cheetah Rivera. What personal memories?
I think basically you'll find that in the book that we have there's a theme that goes through about this passion you have for doing the dance. Cheetah, I never, ever, ever saw her mark a bar, a rehearsal, a performance. She gave 180% the whole time, all the time. It was so exciting to watch her and to just be with her. She was like that when she was home. In London, she and Tony had a wonderful townhouse that they rented. And on Saturday night after the show, we'd all gather at her house and play poker. And, well, Cheetah and the girls, they did all the cooking while the guys played poker. And it was just the most exciting time ever because there was nothing down. Everything was always up. It was so exciting. She's quite a lady still.
Yes.
And she's writing her memoirs even as we speak. She's just begun to write her book. Russ Tamblyn is writing his. So we're gonna have books from all of you. It's where our shelves will be filled with all of these wonderful. Which, guys, you can get this on Amazon. By the way, I started it when the new movie came out. I was so trepidatious because and please, I'm a potty mouth, so there's no other way to say this. I'm like, I hope they don't fuck it up. There's no other way for me. I really was terrified that they were going to screw it because my mom loved the original movie so much. And then when I was, many moons ago, when I got to play Tony, she was ecstatic. And that was one of the best thrills of my life, was getting to sing those songs and be a part of the show. Even in a small regional production, it was amazing. But David came full circle because he's in the film. And it's interesting because a friend of ours is right after David in the America number. It's David and then our friend, the late Doreen Montalvo. We lost her during COVID, not to COVID. It was totally not COVID related, but she was filming In the Heights and she was filming West Side Story. And we've got David, and then right after David, Ariana walks up to Doreen right after that particular scene. So it's really sweet and it's really special. But you really came full circle by being a part of that new film. And I absolutely...
I have a wonderful story.
Go for it.
Who came into the store. My daughter and family have the store in a week. They have a store in Central Corners. And this gentleman came into the store, and there's a picture of David on the wall, and he said, "Who's that?" So my daughter said, "That's my dad. Would you like to meet him?" Well, they met and had a little natter, and with Andrew and David, and off he goes. Had a lovely time, had a cup of coffee, had a sandwich, and about maybe 9 months later, we get a letter from Annalyn and Belinda, not Annalyn.
That'd be something.
With a red tub underneath the Annalyn Partners is Spielberg's movie company.
So Andrew had gone back and said, I wrote a letter and said, I've just met a charming gentleman and family in Clinton Corners, and
It was in the original.
it was in the original, and I think you should find a little part for him. And spread a little fairy dust, which is interesting because David was in Peter Pan. So this was. But can you imagine somebody walking off the street, looking for a cup of coffee, coming into the store, and then doing such a lovely thing?
Writing notes to Spielberg. Well, Spielberg, that letter went to the casting agent, and they called me in New York almost a year later.
And that's how it started.
That's how I did the cameo.
It's wonderful.
But what was wonderful was that technically, by the time I got on the set to do the cameo, we were filming in Harlem on 138th Street. And the first day I was in makeup and costume, and I finished about noon. And they said, they're filming part of the prologue on 136th Street. Would you like to see it? Well, I think that was sort of the plan, because they escorted me down, and I sat in the tent with all the monitors and watched the kids. It was just spectacular. They were so good. The dancing in the prologue is wonderful.
Yeah.
And when they finished, I walked out onto the street. Well, I had never met Steven Spielberg. And he came up, pointed right at my chest with his finger and said, "You're David Bean, Tiger." Right? Yeah. And him. He said, "Well, we got a problem. We're going to have to call you Old Tiger." He said, "We got a new one now." So they had already cut and put the shoot into bed, and all the dancers came over and started talking to me, and it was like sprinkling fairy dust on his cast, because they all grew up watching West Side Story.
Yeah.
So
And he was the special one.
so having this old man come and talk to him was kind of a great treat for them. So it was a treat for all of us, let me tell you. It was wonderful.
And you were, what I can gather, it seems to me that there's a lot of naysayers about this new movie. There are people that have come up to me and said, I refuse to go see it. I won't. But were you happy with the final product?
There was a couple of things that I thought were not as well done as what we did.
Sure.
And I think there were a couple that were better, like the shot in the dance hall coming out. It's just spectacular with all the kids dancing.
Yeah.
The prologue was just wonderfully done, I think. Ariana is wonderful in America. The one thing I was disappointed in was Krupke, because Krupke for us was spontaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In other words, when Krupke left the scene, he jumped into the police car and drove off, and I said, "Hey, you!" and somebody else said, "Hey, who, ha, ha, who." Well, that was all improvised. And they left it all in. And
Yeah.
everything that we did after was pretty, well, because almost all of us had done the show, we knew that we needed a judge, we needed a psychiatrist, etc. And it just happened automatically. It was like spontaneous.
Yeah.
And I think you see that in the original film.
And it was a breath of fresh air.
Yes. And basically, in the new film, I think it was a little lost because to me it seems staged.
Too staged, as not as spontaneous.
It wasn't as spontaneous. It
This
was literally staged because they were actually in the police station when
Yeah.
they sang.
With that Lucille Ball hooker.
All right. Hey, so this is DJ. This isn't giving too much away, right? Because we all have seen West Side Story. We've grown up with it. Peter has seen it 11 times, the new version.
The new movie, yeah.
And one of Peter's big objections to the movie, and there only are a couple like yourselves, is the ending feels rushed.
It doesn't have they don't give Rachel, I feel like she was robbed those wonderful emotional beats that when everybody comes onto the scene, and you're one of the guys that actually lifts Tony up in that beautiful moment, but I feel that the end of the new movie is too rushed. It just kind of, I still cry my eyes out, and I have every time I've seen it, but I'll go back then and just watch the ending of the original film and say, oh, I just wish they had given her those same beats that Natalie would, because Natalie just rips, right, wrong, or indifferent. She rips your heart out. And cutting to the Jets and the Sharks the way they do, and having Krupke and Schrank on the scene. I think what they did is wonderful, but I know that was all Steven Spielberg's idea. Tony Kushner said he actually wrote what you guys had done, and the night they filmed it, Spielberg kind of went in and rearranged it the way we see it in the final cut of the movie. But I just feel the original movie is just a little stronger in those final moments than the new one is. You still cry, but
Yeah, it's a very good point. And the dynamic between the Sharks and the Jets. Look at it and then going and placing the short over her head was really in the original movie.
I'm going to burst a bubble now. Well, right after Natalie Wood from this Oscar-winning death scene, and we went over and picked Tony up and walked off, you can almost see it. We had to do so many takes. By the 10th take, we started to laugh. And as you look very carefully, you can see us shaking a little bit. We're not crying. It was Tony Burnett thing was terrible. like that. Nobody else could hear it but us. It was awful. Richard Beamer was supposed to be dead.
Well, just think, Spielberg's never going to ask David for another movie.
Well, there's wonderful home movies. There's the home movies of you guys doing the rain dances over by the broken down buildings.
Oh. That was where the Lincoln Center is now, 63rd and 4th.
Yeah.
All those, they were all torn down. They left the fronts of the building up so that we could use the street as though it were actually there. The backs of the building were gone. We were not allowed to go and play in the back of them.
Got it.
Once you went through the building, you had to come back out. And what happened was that every time they would, and this is where Jerry took a huge amount of time. He would say, I'm going to do it here, and then do it here, and then we'll do it here. Well, each time they changed the setting, there was 3 hours to reset the cameras and then to get all set up.
Sure.
So we didn't have anything to do. So we were playing, it was Sharks Against the Jets, or do a rain dance. And here's the irony. Every time we did a rain dance, it rained. and they were going nuts because it was costing them a fortune in downtime. And so anytime they saw us start to get together and start making a big circle, they'd come over and lock us on the bus. So it didn't rain.
Yeah.
They were terrible. Well, we were terrible, actually. We were a lot to handle.
Harvey Evans, Harvey Evans said that you guys were like forbidden, absolutely forbidden to do any more of those rain dances.
He's absolutely right. And we were hysterical. We thought it was very funny.
We just lost Harvey at Christmas time. Do you have any memories of Harvey Evans?
Well, Harvey, Eddie Russo, Burt Michaels, and myself all live in the East Coast. We have done so many television shows and so many talks before West Side in the museums. We literally we were attached to hips, I think. And of course we've known each other for 6 years.
But I think he was. I think I'm correct in saying he was the oldest, maybe not the oldest, but he was in every single musical, every single show.
I don't know exactly how accurate this is, but Harvey held the distinction of doing about 28 Broadway shows. And he was the granddaddy of the chorus because they were hiring Harvey to do a show for them because he was good luck.
Yeah, but he was lucky.
Yeah, he was lucky charm. Everybody adored Harvey. He worked hard. And he was good looking. He fit right in. And yes, I talked to him before he died.
And what was that conversation like, if you don't mind us asking?
And this is, what was nice about that was that I had sent him my book. And he read it that morning, and I called him.
Wow.
And the next night he passed.
Oh.
So we were, there was a spirit touching right there. I'm pretty sure.
Sweet man. We saw him standing outside the theater, and it's so approachable. We just walked up to him, and he talked to us until the theater opened. He was just such a nice guy.
Yeah.
And funny. And funny. He was always up. You never saw Harvey down. It was just a joy.
That's actually, we have several questions. And
well, wait, hang on to that for once,
sure.
To the questions, just because now we mentioned David had an affiliation with Jerome Robbins before West Side Story. Now, I think I told David this on the phone, but for the people who are watching, when I was a little boy, I went to see all the Disney movies. And they took me, I think the third movie I saw was Peter Pan, and I fell asleep in the first 5 minutes. It's still not one of my favorite movies, even though that's my namesake. Believe it or not, I was named for Peter Pan. Anyway, my aunt said to me, there's another version that I used to watch when I was a little girl, and they don't show it anymore. And I think you would like that version better, I bet. But she said, now remember, this is the 80s, and my family was big fans of the television show Dallas. So Aunt Carol said to me, now here's the thing about that version. JR's mommy plays Peter Pan. And that didn't faze me in the slightest. So finally, in 1989, they showed Peter Pan with Mary Martin. And David actually did it on Broadway with Miss Martin and the great Cyril Ritchard, who became a father figure to David. He has wonderful stories about Cyril in the book. And he did the first 2 telecasts of Peter Pan on television, which are now available on DVD. We found some footage. I don't know if David has ever seen this or not. We're going to play it now. It's only about 50 seconds long, but I thought this was really cool, and I think we can see David in it. I hope this is him. Roll the tape. It's home movies from the first color home movies from the first telecast of the first televised version of the show, and it's Mary singing. It's Mary singing Wendy, and all the Lost Boys are around her. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's you off to her
upstage right.
Upstage right.
Well, the one that he sings is I Won't Grow Up. Right?
Yeah, I have a solo and I won't grow up.
You're on the original cast album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dropped Jerry said, this is where Jerry Robbins came in, because when I auditioned, I was 14 years old. And I didn't know, basically, what an audition was. This was the first time I'd ever gone to an audition. And I said to my dad, Dad, what is an audition? And he said, well, Dave, he said, you know, when we're riding around collecting junk on the back of the truck, and I asked you to put your tap shoes on and dance for a guy in the middle of the street. I said, yeah, we do that all the time. He said, well, that's just like an audition.
Oh, wow.
So I went into this audition with 300 other kids with just so much confidence, because that's what I did.
Right.
This was my bag, man. Ask me to dance, I'll dance for you. And Jerome Robbins wouldn't let us put our tap shoes on. We had to do ballet. And I just knocked it out. But Jerry loved it because I killed myself doing it.
Well, and I
won't. I will stay away.
It's such a great show. It's such a great score.
It was really fun. A show, wonderful show too. And of course, for me, I lived in El Monte with 6. I was the last of 6 kids. 18 miles east of LA. That was in Booneyland. It was just the whole world just opened up. We actually took a train from LA to New York, one of those old big Pullman cars. We all had our own rooms. My mother and 2 of my sisters came with us. It was spectacular.
Yeah.
Every moment of Peter Pan was just absolutely exciting.
You played Slightly Soiled, right? You were the lost boy known as Slightly Soiled.
I was the only lost boy whose mother named him. You see, when you're lost at birth, if you're lost for more than 7 days, you're simply never alive. Well, Peter has to name you because you are arrived with no name. But my mother wrote my name on the shirt that I was lost in. Slightly Soiled. That's my name.
And Mary, and you had a really lovely moment with Mary Martin on stage, where she brought someone very special up from the audience. You want to tell that story?
Oh, right. Every night at the curtain calls, the cast would stand behind Mary, and Mary would step out to the footlights and talk to the audience, which was absolutely wonderful. she had the eating out of her hand because she was so wonderful. And she said, ladies and gentlemen, this evening we have a special guest star who's actually agreed to come on stage and say hello to you. She said, ladies and gentlemen, Noel Coward. And of course everybody applauds, and Noel Coward walks out on stage. And while he was walking on stage, Mary turned to me, who was standing in line behind her, with her finger and said, and of course I turned around and looked to see who she was talking to, because there was nobody behind me. So I walked out and stood next to Mary, and Noel Coward was on the other side. She said, David Bean, this is Noel Coward. Mr. Noel Coward, this is David Bean. These are long pause, which she loved doing. She said, now I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Noel Coward's very first professional role in the theater was slightly soiled in Peter Pan.
Wow.
And that's how we met.
But did you know who Noel Coward was?
No, I didn't.
But then you had him for a dinner party later on when you were doing West Side Story, right? With George, you invited him over?
I was 14 when I met him, and by the time Noel Coward came to see West Side, well, actually, I had just turned 18 when we opened it in London. And we, at the opening night party, I was standing there. There's a picture of me and Jerome Robbins actually at that party. And I was standing there, and a chap came over and calling my name, and I said, that's me. And he said, well, Noel Coward is looking for you. And I said, oh, really? I know him. So what happened, and I'm surmising this because I actually never did ask Cyril, but Noel was in New York prior, and he must have seen Cyril and said, well, I'm going back to London, and I'm going to see West Side Story. And Cyril said, well, you must say hello to David because you met him. And filled him in. So he asked for me, and we met backstage. And I said to him, what are you doing here? Are you going to do a show, or are you working? He said, no, dear boy, I've got a week off. Oh, wonderful week. I said, oh. My roommate and I said, we have a wonderful news flat behind the palace. I cook a wonderful leg of lamb. Would you like to join us for Sunday dinner? And he said yes.
Can you imagine?
So amazing.
I was 18 years old, cooking a Noel Coward. It was wonderful. We sat up till 4 o'clock in the morning talking, laughing.
And it was the last leg of lamb you've ever cooked.
You have to get him to make 40. You have to get him to make 48 legs of lamb. How about that, Gene, to make up for the chicken pot pies?
All right.
Someone in that show became very dear to David, who is a big old meanie, but a big old lovable meanie. You can't help but fall in love with Captain Hook in the Mary Martin version of Peter Pan, and God, my mom loved it. Whenever I would watch, that was her favorite moments. All of her favorite moments were Cyril and all of his Captain Hook's tango and Captain Hook's tarantella. And, her favorite line was, that's where the canka gnaws. That was all her favorite moments. Now, I hope you guys can see this because David wound up having a lovely familial relationship with Cyril. He really became like a second father to this. Stories in the book are just lovely. And for those of you who know Cyril, you're going to get a kick out of this. And for those of you who don't know Cyril, take a lesson in good comedic timing and a brilliant performer if we have that clip. Do we have it, John?
Oh, well. All mortals envy me, yet better for hope to have had less ambition. Oh, fame, fame, thou glittering bauble, in searching for thee, what fame have I not lost? No little children love me. I'm told they play at Peter Pan, and the strongest always chooses to be Peter. They force the baby to be Hook. The baby. That's where the canker gnaws. I'm told they finds me lovable. How can I break it to him that they find him lovable?
No! Bicarbonate of soda, no! Not even...
It's me. All in one piece?
Hey! Who's the swiniest? Hey! The doggiest? Hey! The slimiest? Hey!
Who's the creepiest creep in the world?
Captain Hook! Captain Hook!
Who's dispensable?
You!
Reprehensible?
You!
Whose behavior is quite indefensible?
You!
Who's the crawlingest, cruelest, crummiest, crookedest crook?
Crookedest crook! What a prize! What a joy!
Mrs. Hook's little baby boy.
The surge of the sea!
Just lil old me.
Yo-ho!
We are back for you. We're trying to get our guests back in.
Okay. Somehow we lost David and Jean as we went off to Never Never Land. So we're trying to get them back on. We should be able to do this, I hope. And I know I want to get to your questions because I know there's a bunch of questions that have come in for David and Jean. So just hang tight while we try to do that. And while we're waiting to get them back on, again, guys, you can order the book on Amazon. And it's called When You're a Jet, The Story of a Dancer's Extraordinary Ordinary Life by David Tiger Bean. It's wonderful. There are wonderful stories, some of which you've heard tonight and some which we're not going to tell you because we want you to buy the book. So check that out. It's, again, I've been doing research for a project because my love of West Side Story was re-upped with this new movie. And so in doing my research for this project, I stumbled upon David's book, and that's why I got the book and why we're here tonight. So I know you'll enjoy it. In fact, I've been encouraging David and Jean to actually do an Audible version of it because they're just so much fun to listen to. So definitely look that up on Amazon. It's a wonderful, wonderful book.
So they're trying to rejoin. So while they're trying to rejoin, we could talk about a couple of things.
Sure.
Whoops. So a group of the boys got together, including Harvey and David, and they wrote a book called Our Story.
Yes.
And it's...
so the Sharks and the Jets. That's another wonderful book. Yes.
But I'm gonna actually put up one of the comments. This is from Susan McCollum, and she says, "Didn't they leave Harvey's name in the credits as he was supposed to have a cameo?" Now, Susan, we have been asking this question. Obviously, you're correct. Harvey Evans does indeed have a credit in the new West Side Story film as a security guard in the scene where Chino tells Maria that Bernardo is dead.
That's right.
And that is clearly not Harvey Evans as that character.
It's Burt Michaels.
We believe it's Burt Michaels. And
No, it's definitely Burt Michaels. We get him back?
Yep, hold on one second. We're going to...
Hey!
Hey,
Yay!
guys.
You're back!
You're back.
Yes! I feel like a 12-year-old.
We missed you.
While you were gone, we played a little bit of Cyril.
Yeah, they got to see Cyril as Captain Hook.
And then we actually had a question from a guest about Harvey, because, Harvey is actually credited in the movie. He's credited as a security guard.
But it's Burt Michaels.
It's actually Burt Michaels. And the belief that they kept it as Harvey Evans, we can't figure out why that is, but he is indeed credited in the movie as the security guard in the scene where Chino tells Maria that Bernardo is dead. We have a couple of other questions. A lot of the questions were about the book that you wrote previous to this with the other other Jets and Sharks, Our Story. And the questions were, do you have any reminiscences of what it was like when you were rehearsing for the show, being a Jet, and did you have interactions on the set with the Sharks? Were you allowed to communicate with each other? What was that like behind the scenes?
It was separatism. We really were not allowed to associate with the Sharks. We were threatened with, if we got caught fraternizing with the Sharks, we had to buy breakfast. But that would be for the whole crew. We're talking $1,200. And in 1960, nobody wanted to do that, so we stepped apart. With one exception. George Kiris was like my big brother. And because we had spent a year and a half in London doing the West Side, when we came to Hollywood, George became a starter. And I'm not allowed to talk to him. So he called me one afternoon, one Sunday. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm doing nothing." He said, "Well, I'm doing your favorite meal. I'm doing spaghetti and meatballs. And Rita is here with her boyfriend. And come over and we'll eat spaghetti and meatballs and we'll all go to the movies." I said, "Where?" He said, "On Hollywood Boulevard. The Seventh Seal is playing." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Okay, but if we stand on Hollywood Boulevard and anybody from the studio comes by, you gotta hide me." She said, "Fine, okay." So we went to see the Seventh Seal, which I still don't understand what that movie was about. And basically, nobody came by, but I was sort of standing behind Rita Moreno's boyfriend. Actually, it was Marlon Brando. The boyfriend.
Amazing.
And so we had one wonderful day, one Sunday with George. But technically, no, we did not hang out. We didn't. There were poker games on Saturday nights. It'd be in my apartment or somebody else's apartment that we would play until Sunday morning. But rarely were the Sharks involved. Dean Stockwell used to play with us. But no, literally, we were separated. And primarily, I think, by choice. If we were on the set, you'd have to be careful because I remember Jamie Rogers and Eddie Bristow would go up into the flies in the studios and drop water bombs on us. And they ruined a couple of other movie sets doing it. I think Billy Wilder had an office in there on the lot, and he threatened to pull out of the lot if they didn't control us because we made so much noise. We'd have races, the Klieg lights for the movies were on a tripod with 3 wheels.
Right.
And we could tripod thing and race them. Race right hell and then jump on them and race down the road.
Wow.
Well, we made a lot of noise. and we had a lot of fun, but it was Jets against Sharks all the time.
All the time.
Literally. Yeah, all the time. And it was fun. It wasn't malicious. It was just fun.
But it made acting much more, made more sense.
While I was in Hollywood, my uncle found me a 1951 Chevy convertible to drive around. And I had this wonderful little Chevy convertible that I would drive all the guys to the studio because about 8 of us lived in the same apartment complex, about 4 miles from the studio. And the one time that the Shark did come in was that I used to drive Jay Norman, who was a Shark, into the studio. And he got into the front seat one day, and he looked up, and there was a tiny hole in the top of my convertible. He said, "Hey, gang, look, you got a hole here." And he stood up, right through the hole. Literally. I mean, made the hole huge, big. So I was basically, you could identify me in Hollywood anytime because I was the one driving a 51 Chevy with the most duct tape on it ever. We had to put it all back together again.
Oh, no.
Can we actually circle back around? Because I want to do this justice, and I know you do too.
Yeah.
Can we circle back around to Mr. Ritchard and how important he was in David's life and really as a second father?
Yeah, no, because I know there were other questions, but that we played that wonderful clip of Captain Hook's waltz. And what an amazing performer, and what a thrill it must have been to have worked with him, David. Plus the fact that you both became so close in the stories that you tell. Just what a lovely and also funny, gentleman. What memories about Cyril? Just anything.
Cyril was like, when I was in New York, of course, Cyril knew my father and mother because obviously they came to New York with me when I was 14 to do Peter Pan. And prior to leaving LA, my dad and my grandfather drove Cyril's car from LA to New York. So basically, there was a meeting there. So Cyril actually knew who my dad was. And when we got to New York, Cyril's dresser got ill and had to leave his job. And we were doing a crossover with the Pirates one night behind the curtain, and we were discussing his dresser being gone, and Cyril needed somebody to help him. And I said, why don't you ask my dad? He can't get a job. The truck drivers are all on strike. And he did. And the next thing you know, my dad is dressed as Cyril Ritchard. And literally combing his wigs out and washing his... My dad never washed a pair of his own socks out in his entire life. I'm positive. And it literally changed his life. And the family got together really well. So basically, during the matinee days in New York, Maddie, who was Cyril's wife, Maddie and Cyril would invite me back to have dinner between shows. What happened was that Maddie and Cyril had a child my age that didn't survive. So basically, that was the link, I think. But I never knew that until much later. But when Maddie died after Peter Pan, and I would get a call to come to New York, I would stay with Cyril. So that was the natural thing. Anytime Cyril went to Los Angeles to do a show at Civic Light Opera for Ed and Lester, my dad would quit his job and go dress him for 2 weeks.
Amazing.
It was a wonderful relationship. But every time I went to New York, or Cyril would call me.
And he was your best man. He was your best man at the wedding, right?
Right, he lived in London. He was my best man. Yeah.
I must tell you this. We were on a honeymoon, and Cyril said, well, if you two want to finish your honeymoon, there's a part for you to end around the world next days. So we said, okay, fine. So we went, and we did around the world next day. But the main thing about it was that, my parents are Cockneys, so they talk with a Cockney accent, and they're sweet and lovely, but this gorgeous black limousine picked us up at the airport. Well, I mean, you get in there, and then we're now going into Central Park West, and we go to 135 Central Park West. That was where Cyril lived. And you open the door, and there was this absolutely drop-dead gorgeous apartment with the most beautiful view of Central Park West. Dorothy Hammerstein, Oscar's wife, had done all the decorating, so you can imagine how gorgeous it was. And in the morning, we stayed with Cyril. We lived with him for about maybe 6 months, wasn't it? And the little bell would ring, and you'd get up in the morning, and it was breakfast. So we had to look absolutely gorgeous. And you sat there, and the eggs, and it was all so absolutely unbelievable to me. And I always said, my God, it was like I was bloody, a princess. And Cinderella.
Big man.
The Cinderella. No, Cinderella. Cinderella lost a shoe, and I never lost a shoe. So it was just sitting there, and
you lost your Cockney accent.
I know, yeah. My mother, talking about Cockney, I had one scholarship in the Royal Academy, and my mum said, here, you can't talk like me. You're not going to go to that bloody old, Shepherd's Bush and be with all those lovely girls who talk smashing your mum's old voices. So you're going to go, and you have to go to education classes. Then you won't ever talk like me. So the funny thing about it is that this nonsense I'm talking to you right now, I don't know what the hell it is, because I don't know whether I'm from London or, But she decided, because don't forget that it is a class distinction, in London. You have to, you're either rich, poor, or medium.
Right.
But with the accent, they knew exactly that you didn't have a pot to tinkle in, so it was very, so.
And you
Earl Man's a dustman. He wears a dustman cap. He wears old army trousers. Council cap. One day was in a hurry. He forgot a lady pen. He hadn't gone too far when she ran after him. What do you think of me? She cried her hand off. You think she got to bad? Jump up on the arm.
Woo! Look at that. You even got a free performance, ladies and gentlemen. We weren't, trust me, that's classic.
This is not really a question, it's a comment.
Okay.
This is from Kathy McCoy. She used to live on Central Park West as well. And she said when she was young, she would stop Cyril on the street, and he would always be so kind and gracious to her that one time he was worried about her getting home. And so he gave the doorman his number to give to her, and she remembers his number being Murray Hill 4545. So I don't know if you remember that, but Kathy does remember that. And how lovely he was to her. So
it's an interesting analogy because Cyril was extraordinarily conscious of people recognizing him on the street. So that when he actually walked, his deportment was, he was 6'4", but he was 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Because his deportment was always out there. He didn't want to suffer the embarrassment of people recognizing him and him not acknowledging. So he always focused on where he was going and not the people around him. So when he walked down the street, he didn't see anybody. I passed him on the street and had to come back and grab hold of him and say, hey.
wow.
He's thinking 3 miles away. But he was very conscious of embarrassing himself and perhaps insulting people by not recognizing them if they recognized him. It was an interesting thing. Very humble man, actually.
Well, he did direct, which a lot of people don't know, 5 Metropolitan operas.
Oh, he was a genius. The man spoke 6 languages. Probably Pig Latin was one. But he would sit down at the piano and play something and sight read some of the operas. I was on the floor. I couldn't believe what this man could do.
There's a lovely photo. There's of the two of you in the book. There's a lovely photo. I wish I could bring it up, but you're playing the piano and he's standing behind you.
Yeah.
He was teaching me. He has a record out called Odd Songs at the Poet, and in that he does Lizzie Borden.
One of my favorites.
But the song he was teaching me at the piano that day, and that was the weekend I danced with Marilyn Monroe.
Wow.
I was going. We can't gloss over that. We cannot gloss over that. Now, you got to dance with Marilyn Monroe. You went to this party, and I forget. Did you realize she was going to be there, or it was just when you got there that she was there?
Well, the Elaine Carrington, who was called the mother of soap opera, she wrote Happy Young Family, all the soap operas in the early 40s, and very successful. She wrote 2 plays, actually, I don't know what they were. But she was very well known and very successful in her time. And she had this wonderful house in Southampton, out on the island. And of course, she knew Cyril. So when I was in New York, it was not unusual that one of the nights that I was there, we would go to Elaine Carrington's house for dinner. And Elaine had a cook named Eliza. So we all got to know Eliza and everything. Well, the second telecast of Peter Pan was live, and as soon as it was over, Elaine invited Cyril and I out to Southampton for the whole week, so Cyril could have a rest. And we got there, and so we thought, oh, lovely, what do you have? You know, I'll have a gin and tonic. And literally, we were relaxing, and Elaine came over and she said, I think you're going to have a wonderful time. We have guests coming tonight. Cyril said, do I know them? Well, I think you do, dear. She said, it's Bloomgarden, the producer, and his wife, very well known. I said, Eli White and Ann Jackson, his wife, they'll be here. And another couple you may have heard of is Marilyn Monroe and her brand new husband, Arthur Miller. They'll be here. And actually, for David, I have a nice young lady called Mimsy. So I had a date, right? Well, that was the party, Cyril, Elaine, and the 6 other people, which was absolutely hysterical because we had a great time. We put some music on, and Elaine, not my date, Elaine and I started jitterbug. We were on the floor, everybody was drinking a lot of champagne, and Marilyn cut in. And until almost everybody went home, that's all we did was jitterbug night away.
Wait a minute, you can't just skip over that. When like that, you were 16, and then these 2 people come in, did your jaw drop, or did you, was there silence?
No, I had to put on an apron.
Oh, God.
Was she, David, was she really, we think of Marilyn Monroe, was she as beautiful in person as you know, on the screen?
Unequivocally.
Yeah.
Yes. And to touch her was just, it was like velvet. It's
like who?
You, dear.
Oh.
Yeah, Marilyn still takes second to Jean.
She had this black strapless dress with a strap that came right down and all the way down to her navel, and the back came very close and went all the way down to where it stopped by itself. She was naked most of the night, I swear. She was just beautiful. It wasn't nasty naked, she was just gorgeous. And everybody was Arthur Miller was just sitting on the bench drinking. He didn't even stand up.
I want to hear Jeannie. I want to hear Jeannie laugh. I'm going to ask my husband to tell the Marilyn Monroe story. Babe, tell that story for me real quick.
With the one that Judy tells?
Yeah. You
want Judy to tell it? Or you just want me to tell it?
Either way. Humor me.
Oh, well, when she married Arthur Miller and Judy said, you know, he was a brilliant playwright, but he was, you know, a kind of a bastard of a man. He didn't treat Marilyn terribly well. He wasn't very understanding. And, of course, he was Orthodox Jewish, and so they would go over to his parents' house every Friday night, and the mother would always give them matzo ball soup. And by about the 6th or 8th Friday night, and, you know, matzo balls are delicious, they're scrumptious, but, you know, after about 6 or 8 weeks in a row, it gets a little old. So Marilyn was sitting there just kind of playing with her soup, and Mrs. Miller said, "Marilyn, dear, is there something wrong with the matzo balls?" And she said, "Oh, no, Mrs. Miller, they're wonderful, but isn't there any other part of a matzah you can eat?" That's one of my favorite Marilyn stories.
We have a comment from Connie Nelson, who lives still to this day in Kansas City, and she says she saw Around the World in 80 Days with Cyril at the Starlight Open Air Theater.
Yes. Yes.
That was.
I was the person that went in with Don DeLuise and Pierre Olaf. And I was the girl that they put me into a traveling carpet bag.
Wow.
That was my, thing.
What are your memories about Dom? Do you have any memories of Dom? Because his son Michael is a friend of ours.
Actually, Michael DeLuise is watching right now. Hello, Michael.
Well, Don and Jean would get into terrible trouble because they were always playing jokes on everybody. So the carpet bag was funny because Piero had this carpet bag that he was walking around following, as part two, following Phileas Fogg. And he came out with the bag, and literally Don DeLuise had Jean get into the bag. And Pierre was carrying his bag out, and when he opened it, Jean popped out of it, and they left it in. That was Jean and Don DeLuise's idea. They left it in the show. Well, Jean only weighed 80 pounds that time,
I didn't eat any matzo balls.
And that's
it was wonderful.
And that's somebody who we lost this year.
Around the world, say that again?
We lost Dom's wife.
Dom's wife Carol passed away last year. That's right. Yeah. Nice lady. Very nice lady.
Yeah. Around the World in 80 Days is one of the shows that was supposed to come into Broadway that didn't make it. The other one that we were affiliated with was The Prisoner and Senator with Alfred Drake.
Yeah, and another one was with That Cat.
We opened a theater for New York off Broadway, and in a called That Hat. It was a musical version of the Italian Straw Hat. And Jean and I were the love interest in it. We had this wonderful dance in the second act where we came out, we pushed all the furniture and everything, and we literally set the whole stage in this dance number that Donnie Cookska had choreographed for us. And it was really wonderful. It was a wonderful number. And opening night, the chap who was supposed to set all the furniture for us was out back having a fag. He was having a cigarette. And we had to improvise. Whoa, it was awful. We literally improvised the whole number without any furniture. We had to come bring the curtain down. So the next day, Jean and I had a house in Westchester.
In the garden, weren't we?
And I was in the garden. You were up on the terrace. You came out. So I just had a telephone call. I said, yeah, what was that? She said, we don't have to go in tonight.
The show closed.
Oh, wow.
Now, Jean, for you were doing, both of you were doing, I know, double duty, but I know you were working at Barbara Walters' father's, the Latin Quarter?
Oh, that was fabulous. Yeah. That was fun for me.
That was Bob Herbert called me and said, I had done voice from Syracuse. And he said to me, have you ever done cabaret? And I said, no, never. And I said, well, we're looking for a pony. Well, the pony, there were two ponies, myself and another girl, bringing on these gorgeous, absolutely voluptuous, wonderful ladies, about 7'2". And so I was living in a place called Shrub Oak at the time, which was an hour and a half away. So I had my little, VW, and we'll go into town, and I have to drive home like at 2 o'clock in the morning. But that was really, I closed it. I mean, not only me, but,
That was
a long show. Yeah, and that was when I found out that I said, somebody is taking my shoes. Who's taking my shoes? I called them some names, which I won't go there. And so what happened is I found out that I was pregnant with our daughter Jennifer. And my feet were swelling up. And I couldn't get my bloody shoes on. So that was lovely. That was,
You also came up with you devised a great way to get Jean home safely at night in the car. I love that story. So it wouldn't look like you were alone in the car.
Now we put a dummy in, right?
No, you weren't there. That's funny stuff. Yeah, you definitely want funny stuff.
I'm going to ask a.
You just think funny things.
So,
This is perhaps what.
yeah,
This is,
David,
go ahead.
wonderful dummy. With a hat, and I put it beside me, so I felt very safe.
Yeah, because driving home that time of the morning on your own.
So this has to be.
It was such a long time ago that the bridge on the highway was 10 cent toll bridge. Where's that?
It's now the $80 toll bridge.
Yeah, a long time ago.
This is my favorite Mac and Chat officially, because if this turns out to be true, so there are a lot of people watching from different Broadway groups, and people of all ages are watching, and so Thomas Nielsen says, was Gene in the production of Boys from Syracuse that featured my next door neighbor? Now, if this is a real person's name, I will just say that we have now officially become the most theatrical ever. Were you in the same production as Svetlana McLeod?
Oh yes, Svetlana. Yes, she was in She was originally in the King and I.
How funny!
Amazing.
What a goof!
Small world.
Wonderful.
I have a wonderful story about me being in Boys from Syracuse. I was doing Hotspot on Broadway with Judy Holliday at the time, and we closed in Hotspot. We went out of town in Hotspot. This is before we opened on Broadway, and Gene left Boys from Syracuse and joined me in Philadelphia and D.C. before we came back. Well, when we came back to New York, Gene thought, well, they asked her to come back into the show. So I sent, on her next opening night, I sent her a telegram that read, "Isn't it wonderful knowing for the first time you can do it a second?"
That's great.
It was a wonderful show, though.
It really was a wonderful show. There was talented kids.
Another great score too. It's a wonderful score.
So these are some questions from people who are looking to get in the business or are in the business. I'm going to just generalize these because we've had many of these kinds of questions.
Okay.
David and or Gene, was there a part that you auditioned for that you did not get that you wish you had gotten?
Yes, with Anthony Newley and Cyril Ritchard in Stop the World. I want to get what's good enough. I really was good enough.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you were. You didn't want it.
No, I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
No. I mean, to work with Anthony Newley, that would have been lovely.
We saw the opening night.
A lot of good that did me.
Oh, God.
The first one, I had one of the best auditions of my life was with Jerry Robbins, auditioning for Gypsy. We stayed on stage for, I was the last one. Everybody left the theater. There was a work light on the stage, and Jerry and I were on stage for about an hour. And I danced, and I sang, and we read for Tulsa in Gypsy.
Who was Tulsa?
Tulsa was not a cat.
No. The lead dancer.
He sang, my top,
He now is the girl.
Matter of fact, Harvey Evans did that role later. I know he did.
Huh.
Yeah. And the kid that got the role, and I can't remember his name, was the one that I used to always beat out at auditions.
Oh, interesting.
Cleverly forgot.
Yes, I cleverly forgot his name.
Well, I know the original Tulsa from the Broadway with Ethel Merman, which our friend Marie was in. She was in that production. I think he was one of the few people that got to do the film version with Rosalind Russell. He actually reprised. He was the only person, I think, that actually got to reprise his Broadway part in the Warner Brothers movie. I can't think of his name, though.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask this question, because well over 5 or 6 people have asked this in the last hour. Do you have any recollections, David, of Stephen Sondheim, who we just lost? Did you have any experiences with him?
I've never read him.
Oh, wow.
I actually never. Originally, when after Peter Pan closed, I went back to California and tried to get out of high school. And I was flying back and forth and staying in Cyril's and auditioning and doing commercials once in a while. But I did a lot of auditioning and stuff. Mary Martin asked me to come back, and Ernie Flatt and Mary Martin put me through their paces one afternoon. Nothing ever came of it, but I flew to New York for it. But what happened was, Jerry was putting together a West Side Story. And he called my agent and said, I'm looking for Dave Bean. Do you know where he is? And my agent said, he's in California getting his diploma. He's not doing any shows until he gets out of high school.
And you knew nothing about that.
And no one ever told me. So I missed the first audition for West Side, for the original Broadway. But within the year, Jerry started putting together the cast for the London Company. So he called, and literally Jerry actually didn't call my agent, he called my mother. How he got her number, I have no idea. Maybe through Cyril, I don't know. But he called my mother and said, what is it, did he graduate? My mother said, yes. So I flew to New York and started rehearsal.
So you never met Stephen Sondheim?
But I never met Stephen Sondheim.
What a talent. Oh, yeah.
We have a question. We have a question from Lewis Bradford. Lewis asks, I'm a dancer. I'm curious, since you both worked with Chita Rivera and Rita Moreno, were there nuances about their dancing that were of interest to you? Was there differences in their performances? Did you like both of their performances, etc.?
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. Chita Rivera was an absolute, total finisher. Every movement she made was so distinct and classical and finished. And literally, she was a wonderful dancer. Crisp. And again, she never marked anything. Rita was not technically as good a dancer as, from a dance standpoint of view, as Chita was. And if they did it side by side, you would always watch Chita. But when they filmed America in Hollywood, Jerry did a clever thing. He added the boys.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you, that helped Rita, and Rita was just spectacular with the boys.
Yeah.
Because the whole total excitement was really was. One of the things that Jerry did in Hollywood was he had finished choreographing the entire number with the boys in America, and we had already finished choreographing pretty much the same as on Broadway, Cool, with the Jets. And what Jerry would do, he would invite everybody into the studio, and the Sharks had to get up and do America. And it would just bring the house down. It was just unbelievable. It was just so exciting because the dance number was so wonderful, particularly at ground level. It was just wonderful. Then he'd say, okay, Jets, and we'd have to get up after them and do the entire number for Cool. We finished the number. It was dead silence.
Wow.
It was just spectacular. He was a very clever man, Jerry. But that was, again, the Jets versus the Sharks again. And everybody knew it, and it was so exciting. But what was unusual, too, is that almost all of the dancing was done complete on stage.
Yeah.
And then when they filmed it, they had to break it up. Normally, when you do a dance movie, they would choreograph 16 bars and you'd film it, and then they would choreograph 16 and pair it, to something else. You never did a whole number, ever. Jerry did. And we had 6 different ways to do every whole number to begin with. Then he cut it back eventually, became very close to the original, except for America.
So when they did America, that was done on one take?
No.
Oh.
You missed that.
No.
George? No. In rehearsals, he would, at the end of the day, he would have the Sharks do America. Not with the camera or anything, they just perform it for everybody standing around.
No, like at rehearsals, when you rehearse, the tights on it, was that a whole... I mean, when you said, I like to be in there, was that down the top? And then, or was it all one thing?
They would do 16 bars at a time, but no, that was broken up. But...
That's hard.
Well, I can tell you, we were not allowed on the set. I didn't see them film it. And they didn't see us film. Cool.
Oh, okay. So all you have to say was I wasn't there.
I know Rita did say she kept, at the very end of the number, her behind kept slipping off of George's shoulder.
Yes. Can you imagine trying to do that and do it?
Over and over again. Now, I do have to bring this up because it's split down the middle. There are the people that worked with Jerry that they sailed through. Then there are the others that said it was a nightmare. But I would work with him again. I was listening to Carol Lawrence. I mean, Carol, some of the stories that Carol has of those initial rehearsals, I mean, apparently he kind of targeted Larry Kurt. It just seemed like he had it in for poor Larry to the point where his ribs were broken.
Mickey Callan too.
Mickey Callan is as well. Yeah, like he really kind of targeted them. And again, it split down the middle because I know that was not your personal experience with Jerry. So I guess it just depended on the situation.
I only have a theory on Jerry's behavior with respect to his aggressiveness to everybody. And that is, in the very beginning, Jerry was not sure of himself.
Yeah.
And he was extremely worried that what he was trying to get over wasn't going to be received well, and unless they did it the way he thought they should do it. And if they weren't doing it, he didn't learn how to be gracious or nice, or didn't know how to get the best out of somebody. But there's the other side of that also is that if you didn't work your butt off for Jerry, that pissed him off too. So
yeah.
That's another side.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of Harvey Evans and I think, Eddie Verso, we were very well for Jerry. Except in Peter Pan, Jerry chewed me out because I did something stupid on stage, not dancing in the line, and it was very amateurish, and he read me right at that. That's the only bad thing he ever said.
Pulled the face.
I pulled the face after this in the line.
Yeah.
But I was 14 years old.
You should know better.
Jeannie Bean was not on the scene yet.
Jeannie Bean was on the scene.
Yeah, but
I think this also has a lot. Gene, I'm curious. Let me ask you. how was Jerry to you as a woman? I'm asking this for a reason, because B. Arthur in her one-person show talked about how Jerry was the only director who ever made her cry. Kay Ballard in her book says that he destroyed her Broadway career. I'm just curious, how was Jerry to you as a female performer?
I really wish I could ask that, but I never worked with him.
Oh, he never came over to so this is a good question then. Who set the show in London?
Jerry did.
Jerry set the show in London.
We opened December 12, 1958 in London. Gene joined the show in August of 59.
And the reason was that because English equity, you have to be, when an American leaves a show in England, an English person has to replace that person.
Equity rules.
Equity rules. So, I mean, well, I always make me laugh because I think, oh yeah, right, they're going to do West Side Story with people saying, "Here, mate, where you going?" with an English accent. Hey, what are you doing over there?
That's actually a wonderful story, because when Jean actually took over the part of anybody, she spoke with a southern accent. She thought that was very American.
Well, they said to me, okay, can you say, I can slip in out of like winds for a minute. Sure I can. I can slip in and out of them like winds for a fence. Yes, I think it was very good American accent. They said, no. So I had to work on that one. I didn't improve, by the way.
I'll tell you, that was in the. Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
Jean joined the show in the summer of '59, and she replaced Eddie Roll's wife, who was my dance partner in the dance hall. English, she had a baby, so she had to leave the show. Jean joined. That's how we literally met, because Jean had to learn the dance hall with me. And then we knew each other right up until January of, 7 months, 6, 7 months?
Was it that long?
And I left London to do the film. So I was gone a year.
And I never knew if you'd ever come back.
Oh, wow.
So
Little did you know.
Lots and lots. Yeah, true. 60 years later, here we are.
In March, you're coming up on your big 6-0.
Yes, on the 24th of March. Yeah.
4 days before my birthday.
Oh, there you go. We should celebrate that.
We have a big party.
Sammy DeSocio, we call her Munch. We have a friend / fan who's been in our life about 15 years. Her name is Sammy DeSocio. She said, Gene, you mentioned that you were a swing. Did you ever have to go on for any of the singing roles in West Side Story, and what was that like?
Oh, well, America, when she did, there was the Jet Girls really had the most boring part. I mean, really, I don't know what they wanted to put them in. They were just absolutely boring.
No. The Jet Girls.
Well, not shot, no. And then when I was with I Like to Be in America, that was phenomenal. I was in my element. I just loved that. But I really hate to say this, I did not enjoy doing anybody. It's a boring little part. And so with the Jet Girls, I just found, I don't know. There was well, let's face it, anybody just hardly did dances.
Yeah.
Really, when you really think about it, you just
And it's also
bothering people.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, Gene. I loved what they did with Anybody's in the new film.
I was just about to say that.
I really liked what they did with Anybody's. I know a lot of people have issue with it, but which I think is ridiculous, because sexual identity was a problem. I mean, Christine Jorgensen, hello, that was one of the biggest stories of the 50s. The first, not the first sex change, but someone who didn't maybe quite identify as I really thought Tony Kushner improved the part of Anybody's quite a lot, because she's not terribly likable. In the movie, actually, she's pretty unlikable. The original movie.
Yeah.
Well, in Kirshner's version, I don't think he enough. I think because a lot of people missed it.
That she was not
the gender thing. Yes, I think they missed. I don't think it was gone into enough because it was too subtle.
Iris Menez, I think that Iris is remarkable in that, to your point, Anybody's really didn't dance, but Iris, even in that one tiny little dance that she does in the gym,
she tries to get one of the girls to dance with her. Yeah,
but
yeah,
just so in tune. We have one last question here from Anthony Libero. Anthony wants to know, do you have any other special stories about working with either George Chakiris or Russ Tamblyn, David?
Gosh, one, I adore Russ Tamblyn. He was just absolutely wonderful to work with. While we were doing the movie in Hollywood, he bought a brand new Mercedes. I think it was like a 220 SL or something, a little convertible. And he drove it on the lot, and then we all jumped in the back, sat in the back, and drove all the way up to Hollywood singing like a bunch of idiots on the back of his car. But Russ was wonderful to work with in the film. George?
Many stories.
Oh, there's a lot of stories about George. We bought bicycles in London so we could pedal our way to work.
Behind Buckingham Palace.
We lived in an Eccleston Mews behind the Buckingham Palace. It was beautiful. One of the things that we used to do a lot would be to, on a Sunday night, to go to the small theaters in London and see little melodramas and shows and things. And that was just absolutely terrific. That have small stages and some wonderful performances.
And also with George, his mum used to send Greek cookies, and I used to pretend that I had to go and see him or do something or other, because I always got to know when those Greek cookies were coming. They were phenomenal. He was very shy. George really kept himself to himself, but he was so, oh my God, he was like a god.
Well, so handsome. So handsome.
Oh.
And he has his own, he wrote a wonderful book, My West Side Story. He has a wonderful book out now, too.
Yes, and all those lovely things that were done. I mean, you say, oh, it's George, this is upset with Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
He was a jet for the Hollywood dancer, yeah.
There's a picture in his book of George and I. Actually, we're sitting back to back, and we were at the studio of Edgar Ritchard, which is Cyril's brother, who was an artist. And he was painting my portrait. And George came by and sat there while I was sitting for the portrait. And we were all just chatting. And afterwards, Edgar took that picture that's in George's book.
Yeah.
I actually sat in with George when he made a recording of Gershwin's little music in London. And I went with him one morning, and he sat down with the arranger at the piano, and they went over one of the songs he was doing. I think it was the Stairway to Paradise. And I went into the sound booth, and George recorded the whole thing, and I noticed that he still hadn't taken off his overcoat.
Wow.
George was very, it was amazing.
Him and Perry Como.
Who gave you a haircut? Perry Como actually cut your hair. I love that story.
That's one of my favorite stories from the book, too. We don't want to give away any more stories from the book, but you have some more questions, Peter.
Well, first of all, there is one particular question, but the one thing I want to say is, we have the 1961 West Side Story, which is classic and legendary and iconic, and it always will be. And now we have the new 2021 Steven Spielberg, and I think David and Gene will agree with me on this. There's no need to compare. I keep saying this, the two of them. They both stand tall on their own. They're both wonderful movies. And you should see both of them. Go ahead, David.
You should see both of them. But the wonderful thing that Steven Spielberg had the right to do and the obligation to do because of his connection with the film was literally to put his take on it.
He wanted to do it, and his wife was
and that's the passion, and you can't deny that. This is what's so beautiful about what he did. It was from here. It wasn't from, well, I could do better.
Yeah.
Never entered into it.
But I think one of the most wonderful things that we were invited in to the premiere in Lincoln Center just before Christmas, and it was so exciting. I mean, just to see all those dancers and their beautiful dresses, and gosh, you have seen women in long dresses for a long time. And then she went to a club, a different club, and so it was wonderful. Good, you got it. We were all sitting down, and Spielberg comes on stage, he thanks this also thanks and then he said, and I think I'd like to introduce you to two people that were in, or three people that were in the show. The first film, David Bean, and Burt Michaels and Russ Camden. And I tell you something, I think you can't forget moments like that when the audience went absolutely crazy, and I was still sitting and I looked over my left shoulder and I saw the whole of the stalls and, the balcony standing up and going just, it's such a moment, such a wonderful moment. Because he is such a wonderful gentleman. Steven Spielberg, I mean, he's so gracious, and he didn't have to do that. I mean, David, you can sneeze if you don't see David.
It's and he really because I remember the article. I think it was 1998, and I forget who was attached to the project at the time. And they said Disney has acquired the rights to West Side Story, and it's going to be updated and set in the present day. They're going to give all the music a very modern day sound. They're getting rid of the Jets and the Sharks, and now it's going to be the Bloods and the Crips, and it's going to have well, I wanted to vomit. I thought, oh my God, you're going to ruin this. You're going to just take this beautiful movie and destroy it. And he retained. It doesn't denigrate the original film. That's the lovely thing. He keeps the innocence. There's a wonderful innocence about that 1961 film that exists in this 2021 reimagining. He doesn't do anything to destroy what we all know and love so much.
I agree.
Yeah.
Bravo to him. Because it could have been disaster. And it wasn't. Again, he did it because he had the talent and the obligation to take something and put another twist on it.
And
I thought it was brave.
And we wouldn't have, and again, we have to tip our hats because we wouldn't have any of this if it wasn't for Arthur Lawrence and Jerome Robbins and Leonard Bernstein and Stephen Sondheim. I mean, thank God for those four brilliant guys, and this it's a story for the ages. It'll never, it's certainly much more powerful than Romeo and Juliet. I mean, as wonderful as Romeo and Juliet is, I think West Side Story is much more powerful than Romeo and Juliet.
Well, it's a good job Shakespeare's not alive in it.
That's only my personal opinion. With all due respect to the bard. My big question was the dangerous Christmas of Little Red Riding Hood and Dancing with Liza Minnelli.
Do you want to have we have that clip?
We have. Can we play it without losing? Let's see if we can.
We won't lose them.
Hang on. Let's see.
Amazing.
Whoa!
And that
only lasts one night.
I didn't hear that.
I didn't know.
No, I heard that. But who choreographed that was Lee Becker. Lee Becker played anybody's in West Side Story original. She was in anybody's.
Wow.
That's right.
One of the most wonderful things about doing the show there was in rehearsals, I did some dancing that Lee Gibbon was there that I thought perfect, just fit me beautifully. I loved doing it. I don't actually remember what it looked like, but I just loved working with her, right? And then they gave me a costume, and I think I'm a
Ghost.
I'm either a goat or a kangaroo or something, with this huge head, and I couldn't jump, I couldn't do all the stuff that she had me. We were so limited in terms of what we could do. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Well, you seem to be kicking your heels up pretty good.
Liza was fun to work with. She was a lot of fun, and she's a dancer's dancer. She was part of the group, the crowd. She was so much fun all the time. And you always wanted to think, well, she really wants to go home with you, and I don't mean in any other way other than family. Because Gina and I had a house up in the country, and she expressed, oh God, she would love to come up and spend a week or something. She was, you want to hug her. She was just wonderful to work with.
Yeah.
And so talented. Woo! That one. Woo!
Amazing. Really amazing.
Well,
What was that, Gene?
I said she had a good mom.
She had a good mom, and she got. It's in the DNA because she got all of Judy's charisma and those chops, and she's just.
Yeah.
I never hear a bad story about Liza. Anybody who works with her said, just said she was an absolute doll to work with. So
Yeah.
now, guys, you have to realize this. Now they have, well, in the book, which you have to get on Amazon or wherever they sell better books, because this is one of the better books. When You're a Jet, the story of a dancer's extraordinary ordinary life. They have a wonderful deli, Jeannie Bean and Family Deli and Cafe in Clinton Corners, right?
Clinton Corners, yeah.
Clinton Corners.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the food is scrumptious, because I know John and I have to go up there and try it sometime. I want one of those famous chicken pot pies.
And I'm going to cook breakfast, but that's for another time.
They have a beautiful family. We got to meet their daughter, Jennifer, early when we did our kind of preamble to all of this. Beautiful grandchildren. And it's just a beautiful book. It's not just a book about theater, and it is a wonderful peek into Broadway's golden age and the golden age of Hollywood and the legacy of West Side Story, but it's also a book about family. I mean, it's they really do have, and I think it's something that David's father instilled in him that seems to have stayed with the family forever, and that's you never give less than 180. Isn't that it, David?
The 180 rule.
Yeah.
That's true. My dad would say to me, I have a job for you, Dave. And you'd say, wow, yeah, okay, Dad. Well, when I was a kid, we didn't have money, so if he had a job for you, you wanted to do it to please him. Not because you were going to get paid. So, there were 6 of us in the family, so you would always fight to have that opportunity to please him. And he'd say, I have this job. Yeah, well, good, Dad. What is it? I'll do it. Right? He said, well, now, before I give you this job, I want you to know that I know you're going to give me 100%. No, Dad, I'll give you 125. What's the job? So he'd walking around, loading the truck up, that's exactly what I wanted to hear, Dave. He said, that's really wonderful. He said, this job, though, is really special. I just made you 150. Dad, I'll give you 180. Come on, I'll give you 180. What's the job? And then he'd give me the job, and of course he'd smile as he walked off the truck. But that was the whole point. When I would come home from school, I put my tap shoes on and tap dance, because the only way that I could do something I really loved was to do it. You have to sit down and discipline yourself and do it. Well, I love doing everything that I ever did, but I've always done it at 180%, and that's a good. It's something to live by. When you wake up in the morning, you feel hit the floor, tap dance. You'll stand up.
Exactly. That's.
Have a cup of tea.
And then have a cup of tea. Exactly. Yeah, I like that. No, never give less than 180%. You're totally on the mark with that. Well, I want everybody to go out and buy this book, and we're working on these two to get them into the big city for a book signing, because I think they need to do that.
Yep. Promise you'll come and do an event with us.
So yeah, we're putting you in the hot seat now.
Great.
So, again, Amazon.com.
You have a verbal minute right now.
Yes. Yay.
Amazon.com.
Amazon.com. Yeah. And
We will put up the link to buy the book in this.
well, when the show goes on YouTube later on tonight, we'll actually include the link for you guys to order the book directly. We'll put on the Amazon link so you can just click on it and buy the book.
Yep.
It's worth every penny of it. And we want David and Jean to do an audio version of it.
Yes, David, please do an audio version. Please.
We have an idea about that.
Yes.
Which I think that would be smashing. Thank you so much for listening to all our people on. But if there ever instance important, and they do have the book, David on Saturday and Sunday would be most happy, and I would do, to sign it for them, to them. So if they're ever, up the Taconic, we're right off the corner Broadway. Come in, pop in, have a nice cup of coffee, a couple of good sandwich, and meet our family. And I think it'll be lovely. David can sign the books especially to them.
If you put it on the link and they come and they purchase it through us, it would be personally.
We can absolutely do that. So they can buy the book directly from you guys. They can order the book directly from you.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Perfect. So we'll put that link.
We'll put that link up because I know I want an autographed copy. I definitely want an autographed copy.
But let's just make sure that our audience understands, because literally there are hundreds of people watching us on Broadway groups all around. So if you guys want a copy of the book and want to meet David and Jean, you can go up to Jeannie Bean and Family in Clinton Corners, and on a Saturday morning, have a little nosh, a little schmecken, and they will talk to you and they will sign the book on Saturday mornings in Clinton Corners, New York. So just wanted to make that clear, and we'll put all that information up once we put this on YouTube and we redo this on Facebook.
And we're going to get them to come into the Big Apple and do something, because they have to do something here. This is too special for them not to do something here. So, and just in signing off, guys, as I mentioned at the...
Oh. Don't leave.
Don't leave yet, guys. Stay in the green room. Guys, a nice hand for David and Jean. Woo! They were wonderful, wonderful guests, and we have wonderful shows.
Well, somebody just ordered 3 copies on Amazon. Another person just ordered 2 copies on Amazon. So yay!
Good. We're selling books. I also have to put out there that I thought we were going to be near them, but we're actually not going to be near them. I'm going to be doing my Judy Garland tribute, Judy Garland Intimate Evening with a Legend, in Rochester, New York, at the OFC Theater on April 2nd and April 3rd, Saturday night and a Sunday matinee. So look for me there. My shows are coming back in 2 weeks to the Producers Club in Manhattan, celebrating Judy's centennial with our first show is called Judy at the Movies, where she'll be celebrating all of those wonderful MGM movie musicals that she did, and a few that she didn't get to do but was supposed to do. And wonderful shows that are going to keep going on throughout the rest of the year to keep celebrating Judy. And I have a West Side Story show that I am in the middle of. We're just about done putting it together. So that's how this all came about, and how I discovered David's book by when I was doing my research for my show. So look out for that as well. You can visit Peter Mack is Judy Garland on Facebook, thejudygarlandshow.com, and Mac and Chat on Facebook. You can visit all of those places, and there's links to all of that in the YouTube clip for this. So I hope you'll come and see one of the shows as well, or book Judy. Judy needs booking, so just get, if you got a theater in your town and they want to book the act, give us a call. We're available. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the first Mac and Chat of 2022. Again, a very heartfelt thanks to David Bean and Jean Bean for being my guests. I couldn't have asked for better guests for my first episode. And we have a couple of great surprise guests on the list, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night and God bless. Thank you.